Something is shifting at Manchester United, not slowly, not quietly, but with real momentum now. The pieces are falling into place, both on the pitch and behind the scenes. Today, we are going to break down everything happening at this club right now, from the manager situation to the transfer targets, from the academy to the dressing room. There is a lot to cover, and every single piece of it matters, so let us get straight into it. The manager situation, Michael Carrick, let us start with the biggest story because it deserves the most attention. Michael Carrick is in a strong position to be named Manchester United manager permanently. Formal talks are set to begin before the season ends. There is significant support from senior leadership ahead of an executive committee meeting this week. Manchester United themselves insist nothing is done yet and that multiple names form part of their process. But the direction of travel is clear. Carrick is the preferred candidate for the role. Now, let us sit with that for a moment. That is not a rumour. That is not speculation. That is the reality of where this club stands right now with its managerial decision. The situation is one of growing institutional confidence in a man who walked through the door in January under enormous pressure. He replaced Ruben Amorim. He inherited a club in serious difficulty when it came to Champions League qualification, and within a matter of months, he has delivered that qualification and pushed the team to the edge of third place in the Premier League. The evidence suggests that the leadership group at Manchester United have seen enough to make a decision, even if publicly they are maintaining their process. And what makes this story even more compelling is who is backing Carrick. It is not just the boardroom, it is the players themselves. What Casemiro said and why it matters Casemiro is leaving Manchester United when his contract expires. He announced his departure in January. He has 2 games left as a Red Devil. So when Casemiro speaks about Michael Carrick, he has nothing to gain. He is not trying to secure his future at the club. He is not playing politics. He is simply speaking the truth as he sees it from inside that dressing room. And what he said was extraordinary. Casemiro was asked whether Michael Carrick ever loses his temper with the players. His response was this: he stays calm every time. He has class. He remembers a game at Newcastle where United lost. And in his words, Carrick killed everyone, but with class. He killed the players with class, and because of that, Casemiro calls him a very good manager. Now, that is the kind of detail that tells you everything about a manager's culture. Any manager can shout. Any manager can create fear. But to deliver a message that cuts through, that genuinely affects experienced professionals, and to do it with composure and dignity, that is a rare quality. Then Casemiro went further. He compared Carrick directly to Carlo Ancelotti. Think about what that means. Ancelotti is one of the greatest managers in the history of the game. Casemiro worked under him at Real Madrid. He won the Champions League with him. And he is drawing that parallel with Michael Carrick, saying both men understand players because both men played the game at the highest level. Both know when to push and when to pull back. Both know what players need to hear and when they need to hear it. Casemiro said clearly that Carrick understands the club. He referenced the team meeting before a game against Leeds where Carrick spoke about the history of that fixture, and it connected with the players instantly. He finished by saying, absolutely, in my opinion, he should stay. The analysis here is straightforward. When a player of Casemiro's caliber, with his medals and his experience, speaks about a manager like that, it is not just an endorsement, it is a signal to the entire football world that this dressing room believes in Michael Carrick. If you are finding this level of detail valuable, hit that subscribe button right now. Adam United Analyst brings you this kind of deep analytical coverage every single day. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss it. Carrick and the Academy, a different kind of leader. The story gets even more interesting when you look beyond the first team. Manchester United under-18s head coach Darren Fletcher spoke publicly about the importance of Michael Carrick attending the FA Youth Cup final. Fletcher confirmed that Carrick has attended several academy games since taking over in January. Fletcher's words were precise and meaningful. He said, it shows he cares, and he has got eyes on it. It inspires the players. The situation is that Manchester United have had a long-standing disconnect between their first-team culture and their academy structure under previous management. The fact that Carrick is physically present at youth games, watching young players, showing that he knows who they are and what they are doing, sends a message that runs through the entire club. These young players do not just play for a badge on a shirt, they play to impress. And when the first team manager is sitting in the stands watching them, the level of performance and commitment rises. That is human nature. That is smart management. Fletcher is clearly excited about it, and the young players themselves are responding. JJ Gabriel and the Academy generation. Speaking of those young players, JJ Gabriel spoke about what the Academy has meant for his development. He described the environment as one that helped him mature and stay humble. He praised Fletcher directly as an amazing coach who helped him become the best version of himself. He spoke about his commitment to daily work on the training pitch, gym sessions, staying fit and staying available. Gabriel also described his family as a constant source of support through the difficult moments and the good ones. The evidence suggests this is not just a talented footballer. This is a young man with the right mentality, and mentality at that age is everything. Talent without character rarely survives the journey to the top level. Fletcher was then asked about the possibility of Gabriel being involved in first-team pre-season this summer. His response was honest and measured. He said decisions like that are made by people above him. He said all the academy players are capable of going on pre-season. He said variation in development is important and that he wants Gabriel to go up and thrive. That is a coach who knows his place in the structure but also believes deeply in his player. The situation is encouraging for Gabriel's future at this club. Darren Fletcher on the wider academy group. Fletcher did not stop at Gabriel. He gave an extensive assessment of the entire academy group this season, naming multiple players who have had outstanding seasons. He mentioned JJ Gabriel, Dan Armour, Amir Ibrahimov, Albert Mills, UL Halafu, Godwill Kukonki, Noah Ajayi, Jay McAvoy, Jaria Shah, and Junior Brown. His point was that even players who had not featured as regularly as others had still produced fantastic seasons when called upon. He specifically highlighted the second-year players for their leadership in supporting the first-year players, calling out Jim Thwaites as a real leader within that group. Fletcher described Thwaites as someone who had a great season, moved around different positions effectively, and improved his range of passing significantly. He called him someone who has developed fantastically and become a real leader in the team. The analysis here is important. Manchester United's academy is not just producing players. It is producing players with leadership qualities, versatility, and the kind of character that survives in professional football. That is the foundation of a sustainable club. Casemiro's farewell and what it represents. Both Casemiro and Manuel Ugarte missed the most recent league match, a goalless draw at Sunderland due to training injuries. However, both players have now returned to training ahead of the home game against Nottingham Forest on Sunday. Sunday's match will be Casemiro's final appearance at Old Trafford as a Manchester United player. He announced his departure in January, and his contract expires at the end of the season. Manchester United supporters have spent recent months singing songs asking him to stay for another year. That tells you everything about how his final period at the club has been received after some very difficult seasons prior to this one. The situation is emotionally significant. A player who went through turbulent times at this club is leaving on a high note. With Champions League football secured, having delivered performances in the second half of the season that reminded everyone what he is capable of. Ugarte's future is also uncertain. He has been linked with a move away this summer. Sunday may therefore be his final appearance at Old Trafford as well. The game against Nottingham Forest also has additional significance because it may serve as an audition of sorts. Elliot Anderson, who has been linked with a move to Manchester United throughout the season, plays for Forest. Both Manchester City and other clubs are reportedly interested in Anderson. A decision on his future is not expected until the season ends, but supporters will be watching him closely on Sunday. Casemiro himself spoke about Kobbie Mainoo in his recent interview. He called Mainoo an unbelievable player. He said clearly that Mainoo is a number 8, not a number 6. He said on the ball, he is unbelievable. He loves the ball. He needs the ball. He controls the ball. He never loses the ball. He is strong. Then came the one note of challenge. Casemiro said Mainoo has quality, but needs to push every time, every time, every time. That is not a criticism. That is a demand. That is a player who has won everything in the game, telling a young talent that consistency is what separates good players from great ones. The evidence suggests Casemiro sees real greatness in Mainoo, but he is also honest enough to say the work is not finished. Casemiro on Tom Heaton. Casemiro also spoke about Tom Heaton, the veteran goalkeeper and experienced squad member. He described Heaton as very important for the group, not because he plays regularly, but because of what he brings every single day in training. He said Heaton pushes the training every time. He pushes in the game. He explains his experience. He communicates well. Then came the line that stands out most. Casemiro said, every room needs one person like Tom. Every room needs this person because he helps too much. That is the portrait of a winning dressing room culture. You need the starters, yes, but you also need the experienced voices who push standards daily without resentment. Heaton is clearly that person at Manchester United right now. Brian Mbeumo and the standard he is setting for himself. Brian Mbeumo spoke recently about his first season at Manchester United, and his honest self-assessment is worth examining closely. He acknowledged there have been good moments this season. He also acknowledged there are areas to improve. He said he had a good start, but in every year of his career, he has come back better than before. He said every season he wants to improve. He said he always tried to beat records. Then came a line that reveals his character. He said it can only be better, not it will get better. Can only get better. That is the language of relentless self-evaluation. He is not satisfied with a good season. He wants more. He also spoke warmly about Bruno Fernandes. He described Bruno as one of the first people he met at the club. Smiley, happy, welcoming. He said Bruno told him he was happy and Mbeumo had joined, which he acknowledged as significant praise given everything Fernandes has achieved at the club. He called Bruno a great captain. Then, with a smile in his voice, he added that Bruno likes to moan sometimes. The reality for Manchester United is that Mbeumo's personality fits this team. Driven, humble, professional and grounded. Combined with his ability on the pitch, he looks like a long-term asset for this club. Transfer activity. The midfield rebuild is taking shape. Now let us move to the transfer picture, because the summer window is approaching and the picture is becoming clearer. Manchester United are expected to bring in as many as 3 new midfield players this summer. The areas they are targeting span different profiles. Premier League proven options are on the list. Bargain opportunities are also being explored. In terms of confirmed links, Elliot Anderson at Nottingham Forest has been linked throughout the season. Carlos Baleba and Mateus Fernandes are also names being considered. And then there is Shea Charles. Charles is a 22-year-old midfielder currently at Southampton. He is expected to cost around £20 million this summer and has been consistently linked with a move to Old Trafford. The situation heading into this summer got significantly more interesting on Tuesday evening. Southampton faced Middlesbrough in the Championship playoff semi-final, second leg at St Mary's Stadium. The match went to extra time. Southampton won 2-1. And Shea Charles scored the winner. He cut in on his left foot from range and found the net. He played the full 120 minutes. He was the second highest rated player on the pitch with a score of 8.5 out of 10. He completed 86% of his passes, 43 out of 50. He won 88% of his duels, 7 out of 8. He made 4 clearances and recovered the ball 4 times. He completed 29 passes in the opposition half compared to just 14 in his own half. The evidence is clear. Charles is not just a tidy midfield operator. He is a player who dominates games physically, contributes in both halves and produces in the biggest moments. Scoring a winning goal in extra time of a playoff semi-final is not an easy thing to do. That is a player with composure and belief. The connection to Manchester United in this specific match is also worth noting. Michael Carrick's former club Middlesbrough were the opponents. Had Middlesbrough gone through, Carrick, if appointed permanently as expected, would have faced his former side in the Premier League next season. Instead, Southampton progressed and in doing so gave Manchester United supporters a very clear extended audition from a player they are seriously monitoring. Middlesbrough were also without their own Manchester United linked player, Hayden Hackney, for this second leg. Their absence was notable. Morten Hjulmand, the bidding war signal. There is another midfield story developing, and it is an important one. Manchester United have reportedly received a signal that Sporting Lisbon's Morten Hjulmand will be available this summer. The suggestion is that Sporting are hoping to trigger a bidding war, with Arsenal also among the clubs asking to be kept informed about his situation. It is critical to be clear here. This is a rumour at this stage. There is no confirmed offer, no confirmed fee, no agreed personal terms. What exists is a signal from Sporting Lisbon's side that the player is available, and interest from at least 2 of England's biggest clubs. The reality for Manchester United is that if they are serious about rebuilding their midfield with quality and depth, Hjulmand represents exactly the kind of profile worth exploring. But with Arsenal also in the picture and Sporting clearly pushing for maximum value through competition, this will not be straightforward or cheap. Casemiro and Ugarte return. The final chapter, returning to the squad situation. Both Casemiro and Ugarte are back in training. The fact that Casemiro returns for what is essentially his Old Trafford farewell adds enormous emotional weight to Sunday's match. Kobbie Mainoo and Mason Mount started in midfield during the Sunderland draw without them, and United struggled. That tells its own story. The experience and quality that Casemiro and Ugarte bring is still necessary. Even as the club plans for next season's midfield, the presence of these two players matters right now. The final home game of the season against Nottingham Forest therefore carries multiple layers of significance. A chance to seal third place, a final farewell for Casemiro, a potential audition for Elliot Anderson, and a last opportunity for Ugarte to show what he can do if his future at the club is indeed coming to an end. The bigger picture, what all of this means, step back and look at the full picture of everything happening at Manchester United right now. And a coherent story emerges. Michael Carrick has earned the trust of his players, his staff, and his leadership group. The evidence suggests that formal talks will happen before the season ends. Players like Casemiro, who have nothing to gain from flattery, are speaking about him in terms that compare him to the greatest managers in the game. He is attending academy games, inspiring young players, and building a culture that runs through every level of the club. In the transfer market, Manchester United are building their midfield rebuild around a clear strategy. Premier League proven players are being targeted. Bargain opportunities like Shea Charles, who just proved himself in a high-pressure playoff moment, are being monitored. And signals from the market about players like Hjulmand are being tracked, even if that remains at the rumour stage. The Academy is producing a generation of technically talented, mentally mature players. Fletcher is doing exceptional work, and the young players themselves are speaking about their environment with genuine pride and gratitude. In the dressing room, experienced voices like Casemiro are setting standards and calling out what is needed from talented players like Mainoo. Imminent is holding himself to the highest personal standards and building relationships that strengthen the group. Heaton continues to be the quiet force behind the scenes that every successful squad needs. The situation at Manchester United is one of genuine forward momentum, not perfect, not without challenges, but purposeful, structured, and moving in the right direction. Every single element of today's analysis points toward the same conclusion. Manchester United under Michael Carrick are finding an identity again. The manager is respected, the squad is engaged, the academy is flourishing, the transfer plans have a clear logic behind them. Sunday against Nottingham Forest is more than just a football match. It is a symbol of where this club is right now. A final salute for one of the best professionals ever to wear the red shirt. A chance to cement a top 3 finish, and a continuation of a journey that looks, with every passing week, like it has genuine direction behind it. Stay subscribed to Adam United Analysts for all the continued analysis as the final weeks of this season and the summer window unfold. Every development will be covered in depth, without noise, without filler, just the analysis that matters.